Alright, so with Black Adam coming out on Friday, or Thursday if you're seeing the movie midnight release like I am, the Black Adam film has this tagline of the hierarchy of the DC universe is changing. That means the power is changing, the strength is changing. There are more people in this universe who are going to be perceived as more of a threat, not just Superman. Now, with that being said, I found a tier list based off of the power scaling of DCEU characters, so not DC characters in particular, only characters the way they are portrayed on screen. Now, the way I think of power scaling, obviously this is going to deal with your strength, your feats, the things that you're capable of doing, your powers. Now, this is going to get a little complicating when it comes to the more humanized characters, because their power scaling is not going to match up to the way some of these god characters can be. With that being said, I'm going to use their technology and their advancements as power scaling as well, and that might be able to put them up the scale a little bit more, such as a Batman. I mean, if you're talking about someone like Superman who would be an S, Batman would have to be all the way at the bottom because he is technically just a human. But when you're putting everything into consideration, like what he's been able to do, the people he's been able to fight, the fact that he fought Superman and won, his power scaling does need to go a little bit higher. And I'm going to keep this as unbiased as possible, so let's get into it. All right, so here are all the characters. Some are duplicated because we got other versions of these characters. As for the rankings, this is how I'm gonna do it. You got S, which means like god tier or above. I'm gonna say above god tier, like you are top of the top. A would be like a god tier. B, you are on the top of this list for a reason. And then C is like you're almost a 50-50, but you're just a little bit lower. And then the question marks, I put that there because there are a couple of pictures here that I'm just not capable of making out at all, and I'm completely blanking on some of these people. So if I don't know who they are, if I can't recognize them, they're gonna go in the question mark section. All right, let's get into it. And we are starting with Dr. Fate, and immediately he has to go in the S tier. Dr. Fate needs to be put up and matched up with one of the best in the DC universe. This guy is capable of taking on anybody he wants, and if he is teamed up with other people, it is a wrap. It is over. Dr. Fate is a selling point when it comes to strength, powers, and abilities. As long as he's on your team, the chances of your team losing are very, very, very slim, unless the helmet of the gods are literally telling him, hey, don't get involved too much, which, I mean, if that's the case, well, then you might be screwed. But taking that out of perspective, Dr. Fate as a whole, unbelievable power. He goes S immediately. Now we head into Barry Allen's Flash, and based off of the picture, that is the Flash we see at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League when he essentially saves planet Earth and kind of the universe, because without Earth's heroes, the universe would be doomed. That Flash is going into the S. What he was capable of pulling off at the end of that movie is peak level Flash. Then you have Superman from Man of Steel. Now, I'm actually going to put him in A. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because it was his first couple of days as Superman. You could argue that he should be an S. That is A-okay with me. You could even convince me that that should go in the S. I'm just trying to keep it very leveled right now, and I'm gonna say an A just because he was brand new to this. All right, then you have Superman again. This is him with the red eyes. I'm assuming this means Batman versus Superman, but I'm going to take it into consideration that this is evil Superman. Now, hear me out here. Batman versus Superman, and evil Superman are both going into the S tier. But since I'm thinking this is evil Superman, he's going straight into the S, and he's going right at the forefront. He's going right in front of Dr. Fate. Evil Superman is the most powerful being in the DC universe. I don't care about all those dimensional breaking characters that comic book writers were bored and had to create something grand and unexplainable. Evil Superman is the strongest being in comic book history. I do not care what anyone says. There's no debate about it. He goes on a tier so high that no one else can reach. He's the top of the top. All right, then you got Black Canary. I'm going to put Black Canary at a C. The reason I'm going to put her at a C is because she's really good at fighting. She's possibly one of the best in the DC universe. And of course, her canary scream, that is very, very powerful, can be used in quite a lot of advantages. I wouldn't put her above C because, like, if you're putting her in B, that means, you know, with a couple of tweaks, she would be on Man of Steel level. And already, like, Man of Steel A to B is already a huge differential. I don't think I could justify putting her in B. But then you got Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and that is from Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he's gonna go into the A. He is a god, so that makes a ton of sense. Then you have Barbara Minerva, or Cheetah, but this picture is technically showing me she's just Barbara at this point with some of the powers. I'm gonna put her on the C level. I'm gonna put her in front of Black Canary. She's pretty powerful at this point, gave Wonder Woman a run for her money. Until she actually turns into Cheetah, I definitely think she is beatable. Then you have the White Dragon. He's got a lot of technology, very unexplained technology too, especially to the outside world. Like, he's got his own kind of like little portal dimension pocket universe in his own home. I think I gotta give him a little bit of credit for being in the sea, especially his suit. He's got some, you know, kinetic energy on this thing. And actually, because of that, now that I think about it, I'm actually gonna move up Barbara Minerva into B. Okay, then you have Wizard Shazam. He's an S, and he's a member of the Council of Eternity. He's super, super old, carries a ton of power with him, pretty much can never die. Just gonna drag him in front of Barry Allen, Zack Snyder Flash. So now you see the man himself, Dwayne Johnson, Black Adam. I'm actually gonna put him in A tier. I think Black Adam has moments where he can be an S tier. Overall, though, rounding him off, he is a god level character. I'm going to put him at an A, and actually I'm going to put him in front of Man of Steel Superman just to make it a little more fair. I think he could give a Superman who's only been Superman for a couple of days, a week at the longest. I think he could give him a run for his money. Black Adam will go the top of the top in the A tier. All right, we are going to hit our first D, Captain Boomerang. I don't think this needs much conversation. This next one here, I'm assuming this is Namek, which is the oversized Kryptonian in Man of Steel. He's gotta go A. Any Kryptonian has to be an A at this point, since they become god level characters once they get to Earth. Now, this one, I can't really tell. I'm assuming that's Ares from Wonder Woman. If I'm remembering correctly, there's like a flashback scene of Ares in that film. I can't really remember that movie too much right now. And that does look like the helmet he wears. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below if I don't figure it out throughout this video. But if that is the case, Ares has to go at an A because he's a god level character too. I'm going to throw him in front of Namek as well. Now you have Doomsday, which I think, honestly, guys, he's gotta go in S. Doomsday can kill every single one of these people in A list. He could kill Black Adam, Superman, Aquaman, Ares, and Namek. If this was your tier list and you said, no, Doomsday could go at the very front of A, I wouldn't argue with you, but I'm gonna put him in S. Now you have Harley Quinn from James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I'm actually gonna throw her in C. I'm gonna put her at the very front of C as well. I mean, she was capable of doing a lot of really cool things in that film, and like, she kind of took down a small army on her own. It's Harley Quinn, right? Like, you can't throw her in D, even for power scaling. She's capable of doing a lot even though she's only a human, so I think C's a fair statement for her. And then we finally hit our first Batman iteration, and this is the Batman who beat Superman in the armored suit. I understand he had kryptonite, he had a lot of things that could weaken Superman, but he was determined and he certainly was powerful in that state. I'm gonna put Batman in B tier. I think that Batman in particular has the power scaling to be involved in a scale of being able to handle gods. I think the B tier, now that I think about it, is a scale that you're not a god, but you can handle a god, and that's exactly what he did. Now you have Wonder Woman, and that is Wonder Woman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm gonna put her in the A tier, and I'm actually going to move her right in front of Aquaman there. I think they are the top 3 of the A tier right now. Wonder Woman is crazy, crazy powerful, and there are instances of Wonder Woman where she can be considered an S tier god, although with Wonder Woman in the DCEU, I don't think we've seen her reach an S tier yet. Now you have Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League, although the only difference with this one is it's not the ending scene where he reverts history. This is just him throughout the entire film. That Flash is going to go in the A tier, and he is going to go in front of Aquaman. Then we have Shazam, or Captain Marvel, and we're going to put him in the A tier as well. A tier is starting to stack up here, and we're actually going to throw Shazam right behind Aquaman. And I think the reason why I'm not putting Shazam in front of Aquaman, or even in front of Barry Allen's Flash, is because he's still a kid, and this was his first go as Shazam. I don't think he's hit that level yet of being better than 2 of those main Justice League characters. Okay, then we have Zaz from Birds of Prey. This is easy. That's a D. I, once again, don't think he needs any discussion either. Now, this picture here, I'm not really understanding who that is or what that is. Like, I feel like I know, but I can't put my finger on it. So for now, I'm putting it in the question mark because I just can't really figure out who or what that thing is. We move on to Peacemaker, and I'm actually going to put Peacemaker in the C category. I'm going to put Peacemaker in front of Harley Quinn on the C tier. I think the focus on his character and the fact that it's John Cena, they're certainly going to make Peacemaker a more powerful character than maybe he would be depicted to be in the comic books. Okay, then we have Doomsday transforming, and this is every single time in Batman vs Superman where he gets extremely damaged, he morphs into an even more powerful version. I'm gonna put him in S. Now that I think about it, this means that his regular form is beatable, even though he ends up transforming into an even more powerful version. I'm gonna put regular Doomsday in A tier. And I'm starting to really hope that is regular Doomsday. I don't really know what else that could be. I'm just sticking with it though. I'm gonna put him in front of Barry Allen's Flash because I think these 3 characters, Black Adam, Superman, Wonder Woman, could beat Doomsday. And for morphed Doomsday, I'm gonna throw him at the end here of the S tier list, even though I think he could beat some of the characters in front of him. Now, as for Maxwell Lord, I'm gonna put this guy at a B. And the reason I'm doing this is because look at what he was capable of doing in the entire film, basically brainwashing the entire world into wanting their greatest wishes. Even though Wonder Woman 84 was butchered, it was a very, very bad movie, I think he does deserve to be in the B tier. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This is Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League in the black suit. Technically, when Superman is like this, he should just be in the A tier and probably around the bottom of the A tier because he's wearing the black suit to soak in more sun energy to make him more powerful. Although seeing that Superman in that film, he is easily S tier. Like, especially the way he looks at Darkseid at the end of that movie. It almost looks like he's looking at him like, yeah, come buddy, like attack me, I will bury you. I just feel like his character in that film was represented to be on the S tier list, and I'm actually going to throw this version of Superman in front of Doomsday, just behind Barry Allen. Then we have Huntress. I'm gonna put her in D, but I'm gonna put her at the front of D, and that's mainly because we have not seen enough of her, and I just can't give her enough credit to be in the C category yet, because there's not enough to dive into her character and talk about her power scaling. We have Killer Croc from the first Suicide Squad film. I'm sorry, he's going into D. That was a really, really bad representation of Killer Croc, but I'm gonna just just put him in front of Zaz. Then you have El Diablo. I'm going to put him in the C tier because he can be somewhat powerful. I'll put him in front of Black Canary. I still think Harley Quinn could beat this guy. And now that I'm putting him there, I think I'm remembering the guy I have in the question mark area. I think that's El Diablo changed into his like super version. I'm gonna put him in the B tier just behind Barbara Minerva. Now you have Black Manta. You could argue an A. I'm gonna go B, and I'm gonna put him in front of Barbara Minerva. I think the more we see of Black Manta in the future, he could probably go at the front of B, maybe somewhere at the back of A. I think he's good enough to be in one of these categories. Next, you have Ocean Master, and I'm gonna put Ocean Master at A and just in front of Namek. I think Ocean Master could give a bit of difficulty to Ares or Shazam or somebody like that, but I still think at the end of the day he would lose. But hey, he's still a god level character. But guys, this video is getting a little long, and because of that, I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. As for part 1, let me know what you think of my tier list so far. I think it's pretty leveled so far, and I think the god level characters are being explained pretty decently, but let me know how your tier listing would look after the first part of this video. The second part will be up a couple of days after this. There are just so many characters to go through, and I don't want to make one video far too long. But anyways, everyone, keep an eye out for part 2, and I hope you all enjoyed part 1, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.